Oh yeah. Just the erste Sache is the Besura Teuve, because for how many years already, for a few cycles of the Daf Yomi, the winter Motzei Shabbos is in Flatbush, hat man sich zusammengekommen, Echad aber mit getonnen Sugya. Every week is a beautiful thing. Every week from the Shabbos they change the clock till the end of the winter. Also is gegangen. So b'bchina mesuyemes, the hefsek that was imposed on us because of the COVID, the matziv, we skipped a year. I think last year we didn't have it. 2 years ago we still had it till right before Pesach. So it's as a b'china from Bakla Atomid. We just learned in the Mishnah that the Mo'iroyis of Shivasa B'Tammuz, one of them was, the first one was the Shvira Saluchais, but then Batla Atomid. It's, and then Hufka here, we're misable because of the Hufka here, the wall broke. Statements for him that the Bitla Atomid in Zman is doime to Hufka here in Makom. A Tmidis, unshakable Tmidis. This is 400 years of the Talmud. But even this was a security in Flatbush. And those that were Matzav Gvul Almona and are responsible, and B'chol HaMesayim Al Yodai, that brought it back. And we're back again. The Talmud is lo yishboisu. It's a shmira. Flatbush is in better shape. People go, people come. Hot simchas enough. The Shiur gate. Baruch Hashem. And yesterday, I think, in Friday's daf, and daf Chav Ches, is the Gemara with Halal. That the Gemara made a diuk from the fact that in the Mishnah, a regular Rosh Chodesh did not warrant the listening nami be'echad b'nissen, lo yoya by ma'imid b'pnei sheyesh by halal v'korban musa v'korban eitzim, or HaRav, the halal doesn't count because aleilu the b'reish yarcha love the raisa. Whatever the Raisa means by halal, the Kabbalah, or whatever, Ikr the Raisa. But Akoponim halal, the Reish Yarcha, is not from the Shmoyna Asa Yom Vashana that a Yochid is Goyme Bohenes halal, or Begoyla 21. So the Gemara. Gemara brings that Minig Aviseinu B'Yodeinu, and the fact that he was a medalig, he knew that it's not a regular halal. Toises handles what the fact that he didn't make a bracha. Also the Gemara from Rosh Chodesh. I don't want to speak on the Gemara from Rosh Chodesh. I want to speak on the Toises, Divrei HaMaschil, V'Yom Tov HaRishon Shel Pesach. Famous Gemara in Erchin that Pesach is 1 day halal or 2 days in Goyla. And Sukkos, sagt the Gemara, is all Shmoyne Yomim of Sukkos and Teisha Yomim in Goyla. And the Gemara is Bavus the Gemara because it's Choluk B'Korban Oiseyim. The fact that every day of Sukkos is a different carbon has a Bezundar Halal. Pesach is only one carbon that goes straight through the entire Yont. Chanukah in the Gemara in Avenik in Erchin. The Gemara speaks out all the cheshbonis of halal. Chanukah the lesser loy lekeboy loy ha v'loy ha. It doesn't have choluk b'korban. Doesn't have a korban. It's not mekudesh b'asiyas malacha. So why on halal? So the Gemara is shum nisa. Shum nisa. Malan b'shetchiyas b'pashtis means that halal Chanukah is under halal. When I say is mavur in Rashi, in Rashbam, in Kuf Yud Zayin, in Arvei Psachim, that when the Gemara brings Nevi'im eingeführt, Omroi, al kol perik u perik, al kol tzora v'tzora ukeshenigalu mimenu. So perik u perik is the yomim shegoymim bahem, based on the Yom Tiv. And the fact that it's a Zayom that's Mesugul for Halal. Tzora v'tzora k'shenigalu mimenu kipshutoi, you would learn, it goes in Leil Sancheiriv. Aleil hazeh ashir hazeh lochem kileil is Kaddish Chag. So the Shiur of Sancheiriv, that night was this massive ness that the ganze Machna Ashur died in one night. It's ganz klar, so was Nitzel from there in Vayim. It was a tzorah, shenigalu. We give it a Shiur. We give it a halal from Shiur. Ki yadu it a HaRav. There's a halal from Shira, and the night of Pesach is also that halal from Shira, based kipshutai on Chayav Adam Liras Atzma Kilu Hu Yatza. So Leil Pesach is a Shasanes every year. Every year, Leil Pesach, it repeats itself. We're in a matzv called Shasa Ukeshenigalu Mimenu. That's Chayav Liras Atzma. But Chanukah, we wouldn't learn like that normal. But Rashbam and Rashi say clearly that halal of Chanukah is Al Kol Tzora V'Tzora Kegoyin Chanukah. Kipshutai. It means that second dimension in halal, besides Al Kol Perik Uperik, also Al Kol Tzora V'Tzora K'shenigalu Mimenu. Rashi and the Rashbam over there say Rashbam is in Kuf. Rashbam is in Stom in Kuf Tezayin Amid Beis, and Rashi is on Kuf Yezayin Amid Aleph. Ukeshenigalu Mimenu, and that goes to Goyin Chanukah. This Tosfos says Kipshutai Nishtase. If you read the Tosfos says like this: Pesach hu goymer es a halal, avol shmoyne yemei Pesach loy. Mishum de loy domi lechaneke v'sukkos. The Chanukah dinahu ligmor halal, because kol aches yomim hoyo aneis mizgadel. Very nice. Mishum nisa. Viertais Tosfos v'hoyo kol chad v'chad yom tiv. Because every one ner, another ner, a third ner, each ner was a mizgadol de kenes that it burnt from the pachashemen. So memele nicht. It's a bezunderkeit of a nes. So memele mishum nisa. No, it's a yom tiv. When the Gemara says mishum nisa, the Gemara means that without korban and without kiddush basiyus melacha, Chanukah has another factor that tells it avek as a yoim nisa, as a yoim perik of halal, mishum nisa, and the mishum nisa tells avek the yom tiv of Chanukah, and remember every day is an individual yom tiv. Shmoinas yemei Chanukah elu. It's a collection of shmoina yomim that achivei Chanukah elu. And das ist the Pashtus Gemara and the Braisa for my Chanukah. Lashona Acheres Kavua va'asouah Yomim Toivim B'halal v'hoidah. Read Duch Rashi himself. Nicht wie a regular Yom Tiv, was is also wie Asiyas Meloche, nor es is a Yom Tiv of Halal v'hoidah. Halal mizakt Halal, und hoidah in Alanisim in Moedim. Das ist the Mashmoyes.
Actually, places make note as we should have been yotzim with 1 day of halal.
She should have said Anaya Nes is Anaya Halal. If Sancheiriv's army died one night and the next night is given noch a Nes for noch an army, darf Tosfos rufen das a Yom Tiv? So Anaya Nes, ich habe noch a Sakon, ich habe 8 Nissen.
Steht doch in der Gemara, als ich wenn jeden Tag Anaya Nes, the Gemara later in Shabbos. Tosfos just thought maybe you should do 1 halal, just like 1 Yom Tiv.
No, because 1 Yom Tiv is Nimshach, it's ein Yom Tiv. Aber was ist 8 Yom Tovim, like Sugyos, macht man 8 das. So, it's, the question Tosfos very much sounds that Tosfos learned that Chanukah is Perik. I'll bring you another Tosfos, but that's a bubble. But there's much more in this Tosfos. Kipshuta, you have to learn Rashi. In Psachim is mashma nishtase. How Rashi in Psachim reads the Braisa of my Chanukah, nishtase. How does he read the? And he himself teaches asu yomim tovim b'halal hoidah that the mitzvah sayoim of the yom tov is halal hoidah nish malacha. That's mashma. That is the mitzvah sayoim of the yom tov. And in Psachim it's mashma, it transcends the yontiv. It's mishum nisa. It's a halal ala nes. Mit dat das wissen. Anyway, das steht in dem Tosfos. V'chein besukis, every yom is a yontiv le'atzmoi. Lefi shepori achag, mismatim v'holchim. Aber Pesach, eino mishtane loy mikobonis, v'loy mi yontiv. We don't have a psananda siba to make it a separate yontiv. Kilu, Avadi Yetzias Mitzrayim till Kriyas Yamsa was a hemshech. But to make it a separate yontiv, there was not something to make it a separate yontiv. L'kachin goyim boyas ahalel elo yoim rish. Ad kan the Tosfos. The Mordecai Tosfos in Davlamet Tes in Sukkah. There's a Gemara Mishnah. Misha is somebody that doesn't know how to say halal. So his Isha recites it, and he has to say after her, V'tova Yolov Me'era, because he's an Amoritz. Is Tosfos Medayik that she's not moitzi him. She has to say it, and he has to say it after her. But she can't be moitzi him with Shemea Ka'oine, the halal of Sukkos. So Tosfos is mashma that the halal of Sukkos, who adin a Mordecai Loshen in Tosfos, the halal of Atzeres, the halal of Shvuos, a yishas pot, because the mitzvah saseh shazman grom. Tosfos skips to halal the leilei psachim. Halal leilei psachim noshim achayim. Favos, because the whole is the kois, is ala, the halal is ala kois, and the noshim are mechuyev in dalet koises because of afein hoyu bois anes. So the afein hoyu bois anes affects the halal of leilei psachim also. Even mele noshim achayim. Stam is a mysterious Tosfos. He skips the yontiv of Pesach. He speaks about Sukkos and Shavuos. Goes to the night of Pesach. The night of Pesach is intertwined with the Kosev. The night of Pesach is a Nes. So Zichar Mashma, the day of Pesach, nicht Kipshutai. Say pashtas. Huh?
Talking about Leil Pesach. No, Toy's talking about by the Seder.
Seder, yes. So, and what about he doesn't speak about the day of Pesach.
The day of Pesach was Yontif. It's a Yontif Bekal.
Right. So he doesn't really, but he speaks of, so what does he say Sukkos and, so what does he speak about Sukkos and Shavuos? Why is he doing that? Oh, but the Iker mystery in Tosfos is what's with Chanukah. What's with Chanukah? Noshim and Chanukah. Because Chanukah has an Afei no Yuboy Sanes. And Ner Chanukah de Chayev. So what about the halal of Chanukah? So here is where you have a split. If you say Mishum Nisa is like Rashi and the Rashbam, the Kipshutai, it's like Dalit Koises. It should be Afei no Yuboy Sanes, and Noshim should be Chayev. It should be Potter. Should be Chayev. But if you learn like this Tosfos, that all the Nes did was to be Koveya a Yoim, a Peirik for Halal. Once it's a Peirik for Halal, it's a mitzvah Seseh Shazman Grom. Now, by the way, we all know that in Brachas Daf Yud Dalet, in the Sugyos of Hefsekis, it's a Mefurish Gemara that all Halals have a Maila of Pesumei Nisa. Even the Halal of Peirik, on a day of Perik, a Yid is in a matzav of halal, and he has to give a shevach on Pesumei Nisa. Oh, but the halal is can halal ala nes. So halal was mezogt. I'll call Perik or Perik. So this Tosfos Kipshuta learns that the Mishum Nisa creates a Perik or mezogt halal als Perik. Rashi and Rashbam Kipshuta hold Mishum Nisa is a directive. Achroinim amedagdik from the Rambam that the Rambam holds Noshim HaPotter, because this same Mishnah that over here is brought in Sukkos, the Rambam is very interesting. Where does the Rambam bring Hilchas Halal? Chanukah. Lo ya'el shel Chanukah bilvad, nor all the special prokim we have halal. The Rambam goes through the whole sugi in Erchin on his lashon with his explanation in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and the Rambam. then is a medayik that the Rambam, after going through from Chanukah through all the Yomim of Hallel, then he brings the Mishnah Kitsurasa in Sukkah. Mashma that the diuk that Tosfos made on Hallel of Sukkot, Lefi the Rambam, you have that same diuk on the Hallel of Chanukah. So actually, the binyan Shloima, or I heard the Teres Refoil, Gedolim Achroinim that handle this diuk that Noshim are chayiv in Noshim are potter in the Hallel of Chanukah als mitzvah says Shazman Groma, and you don't say what Tosfos says on Leilei Psachim that there's an inyan of Afhein Hoyu Ba'isei Anes. On Chanukah, which is tremendous chiddush, but the teretz is it's a riot that the Rambam learned like Tosfos that all the Mishum Nisa that the Gemara refers to in Erchin is to establish an Afein Hoyu Ba'isei Anes, to establish a Perik Miyuchit for Hallel. But more than that, it's not. That 2,000, 3,000, how many years now? 2,500 years or 2,300 years after the Nes Chanukah, we don't have the Kesheni Galumi Menu. Auf Chanukah steht nicht Koninien von Kilo Hu Yotza. Kilo Yotza is a Mishnah auf Leil Psochim. Chayiv Odom Liris Atzma mit HaPosek. Bavur Zeh Osa Hashem Li. B'tzeisim Mitzroyim. B'dav Zechib Leben the Kilo Hu Yotza. Chayiv Odom Laharis Esatz Kilo Hu Yotza Shenema Val Shteit HaPosek. In no other nest do we have that. So versteht sich, it's a chiddush nifla to learn that Rashi's chiddush that is halal ala nes on the nes of Chanukah, which is a nes that's thousands of years ago. We never did of kol shana v'shana or din halal ala nes on a nes kadman that happened many years ago. Oh, but kipshutai, that's what it says in Rashi. There was something missing, that there was a halal lechatchila of Chanukah halal nes. And als Lashona Acheres Kavu Vasu Yomim Toivim was Lezeicher of the Halal Ala Nes, which they did in the original Chanukah. Ich weiß nicht, if es steht in Chazal as a Sach. So that's a mocker for as a Sach, that there was originally a Halal of Ashir Az Elochem, and afterwards Lashona Acheres, when they were Koveya, which is already not Mishaz the Nes, they made it a Yomim Toivim V'Halal.
Need to say that.
Steht in Egetz?
It says even their Chanukah they didn't do till Shana. They said first time halal, in other words.
No.
Maybe there was a halal.
Maybe they had to do halal the first day when it was Masat Giborim Biyat Chaloshim, and then the Ulachas Yisachur, whatever. At man gedacht ton als dem Dien von ein Ashira Zalachem Kileilis Chadish Chag, what we learn out from there, the halal from Shira, the Bahag, what the Beskara brings down in his sefer.
Why would it stop in 1 year?
No, because a year later, what on Mikni? No, so the V'shas Maisa, V'shas dem Nes, Ucheshenigalu mimenu. Only Pesach is a Nayazach that jede Jahr Chazet Zechibber. Der Keshenigalu mimenu. Mit der Chayev Odom Liris Atzmai. Weil sie da ein besonderer Pasuk von Bavu Zeh Osa Hashem Li.
Was im Schat damals in der Rashi im Psochim?
That Kigoy Chanukah, because Rashi had a Yediyah.
Rashi meant Kigoy Chanukah then?
Yene Chanukah, yeah. When he says Perik or Perik, he doesn't speak out which Yontif. He doesn't. When he says Perik or Perik,
no, the Psochim will bring it.
He doesn't say which Yontif. He says Perik or Perik. He doesn't speak it out. But I don't think he speaks out the Yom Tovim. Which Yontif, yeah, which Yontif not. I just Kigoy Chanukah. So where did he see such a thing that Chanukah was a halal ala nes? That to say all the years it's a halal on a nes, it's a gewaldige chiddush. He himself in Shabbos doesn't sound like that. Rashi and the Rashbam, yeah. Rashi's here. Shaloi Tovei Alein, he doesn't listen to Al Yehuda Nakat Koloima. Shem Chaz v'Shalom Tovet Tzar Alein v'Yivoshu Mimenu Oimim Oisei Al Gulason Kigon Chanukah. That's the Rashi, and here's the Rashbam. Mamish came out the same thing.
Moshe is pointing out that Rashi in Tainus also brings Chanukah.
Akol perik uperik v'kol tzora v'kol regel v'regel. Akol perik uperik v'akol regel v'akol tzora shelo tovei aleim. Lishtema Elya. Kigoyin Chanukah. So by the way, what's perik uperik and what's regel v'regel? Which perik is not a regel?
It's mashma that is a perik. Anytime a nes happens to a person.
No, that's how called tzora v'tzora. Wasn't me? I never noticed this Rashi. The Rashbam. Perik uperik has a girsa. Perik uperik v'chol regel v'regel. Regel perik uperik regel v'regel. V'al kol tzora shelo tovei aleim.
Here, the Rashi and Tainus leaves out the kol regel.
Yeah.
Now Rashi says perik uperik v'al kol tzora shelo tovei agulos and lahal the Chanukah.
Yeah.
Perik is like in Zman, I don't know.
Perik Zman. That's the Lashon. That's the Lashon of Brayso in Psachim. Neviim shebehem omru. Where's the halu sech the zervin? Furish mai shno de goyme kol yemei achag u'bepesach lo goyme.
Pick up a Rashi.
Aval hal de Chanukah koi ba'echad betevis vaday dochi. Neviim tiknu she'oime moise akol perik uperik al tzor shelo tovei aleim. Oim sagulos and kidaraisa domi.
Here Rashi leaves out. What? Yeah, I know. Rashi says Nevi'im. It's a Pella. Yeah. How the Chanukah the given the Nevi'im tiknuhu. To say the how.
Listen, I never really can't say because I never came to a real to an answer on this. It became on the Shtoizikum a double mechuver in Rashi and Psachim versus Rashi and Shabbos. Rashi and Shabbos mamish sounds like it's a choyves hayoim. You can't say it stronger than he says it. Loi that it's a yontif for malacha, it's a yontif for halavayidah. And here he says Kigoy Chanukah. It's talking in the Rashi and Tainus doesn't allow for this kvetch that there was two halals in Chanukah. There was an original halal ala nes that somehow became an halal sheperik. Because I'm mashma like that. I'm asking. I hear.
Mashma there is only the second year.
No, that I don't know. It's mashma that whatever halal we have that we say Chanukah is still yena halal. It's a shver zach, but as
which is the first year or the second year?
Always.
The Shona Cheres Kavur v'Asu. The mashmoyas in the Gemara is that the mitzvahs of Chanukah came to Shona Cheres. So I would imagine could be this mitzvah too. Did they say a halal the first year? Als the din of Ashir Azelachem Kilelis Kadosh Chak? Could be, but could be that the next year you needed a bezun bekvirus. That every year on the day of the Nes you're not supposed to say halal on the Nes of Chanukah, and we have to say it all the years. And every day of Chanukah is a separate Nes and a separate halal. That's the mashmoyas of Rashi and Psachim. What they did the first year could be they anyway had to do the first year b'shaz the Nes. First of all, I don't know if the Neiris were that Nes. The Neiris is the Kviyus of Lashon Acheres. But the Etzem Nes, the Geula, it was the Mulchama that we say in Ha'anis. The Adliku Neiris B'chachas Kachecha is L'chayre not that Nes of Tzora V'Tzora K'sheni Galu Mimen. The Etzem Yeshua was the Netzachan over the Yavanim. The fact that we were Zoycha to be Madlik the Neiris is not necessarily always gehalten with Tzora V'Tzora K'sheni Galu Mimen.
Shabbos doesn't talk about the Netzachan. I think when Shabbos doesn't
But Rashi in Shabbos doesn't mention the Neiris.
Right.
That's a big difference. But anyway.
There's another shtickle over here that's could be by the Olam, it's a Pasha Tezach, but it's to me, it was always till I figured out how to learn a piece of Mishnah Brura in Tov Pei, in Erechaim, in Hilchas Pesach. So, the famous din that we all know, that on Shabbos Chol Hamoed Pesach, because Chol HaMoed is not a mechayev. Is not a mechayev in Haftorah. Only Shabbos and Yom Tov is a mechayev in Haftorah. So Shabbos, which is Chol HaMoed, is not a yom that's mechayev b'Haftorah. Only mitzvah the Shabbos. So the Moed is not mechayev, and only the Shabbos is mechayev. So we say Mekadesh HaShabbos. And we only maskir Shem HaShabbos as and we say Mekadesh HaShabbos in the chesima of the Haftorah. As they bringt the halacha, Siman Tov Pei, in the Haftorah of Pesach, of Shabbos Chol HaMoed. The Tov Tzadik bestammen, not Tov Pei. Umaftirin oiso alai. Ubemusaf say Shabbos shechol hamoyed shechol b'chol hamoyed ar v'shachas u'mincha Yedaven Shabbos with Yalav Yovoi. By Musaf you say like every Yom of Chol HaMoed you say the Musaf of B'dechat Ha'enu v'Yom Chag HaMatzos azeh v'cheinoim es Musaf Yom HaManoyach v'Yom Chag HaMatzos v'choysim Mekadosh HaShabbos v'Yisrael v'Azmanim in the Tefillah. Umaftirin oiso alai. Zog der Ramah. Ve'ein maskirin birches haftorah lepesach loy be'emtza ve'loy bechsima. That's the Ramah. That Pesach in the haftorah in the birches haftorah you're not maskir Pesach not in the bracha and not in the chsima. Zog the Mishnah Berurah. The b'Shabbos shechol b'chol hamoyed Pesach ein haftorah bo ela b'shul Shabbos bilvad. Pavos Valein maftirim b'novi b'shah yemei chol hamoyed. Levichach oimen birches haftorah k'moy b'shar Shabbos hashon. Good. Aleph base. V'loy b'chsima d'aynu she'nei chois. V'chei masker shasuk. V'kotzvu achroinim. The b'Shabbos chol hamoyed sukkis. Messiah mekadesh Shabbos v'Yisrael v'Azmanim. V'chei masker shal sukkis be'emtza ha'brocha. V'atam shekol yom v'yom chol hamoyed sukkis u'kemoyed b'fnei atzmoi. Sh'nechlukim mikobonos amusov. So Tonachitin v'hoydoloi b'soyrin. The problem is that Chol HaMoed is not a mechayev. Chol HaMoed is not a mechayev of Haftorah. Memela Shabbos Chol HaMoed is still not a mechayev of Haftorah. No. So that sukkis, because it's a separate day and it's a separate carbon, what happened? And it's one Mishnah Berurah. Here the Ramah, and he explains the Ramah, and he brings the Achroinim and doesn't justify that somehow it stems with what he said a line before. It's Rav Sinigra Kipshuta. For any of us in the struggle in Mishnah Berurah, it was basically we medaf learning on Mishnah Berurah. This is till a year or two ago. Mamish is melichte geworden alpi pashtus. How are you supposed to read this Mishnah Berurah? There's a piece missing. But the piece missing is ein of us learned af Yomi basis from the Sechtes Woche. That in the Perik Kol HaTodim, you learn out of Yesoid that when a Gedusha coincides with another Gedusha, the Gedusha Chamura, which has Dinim Noisofim, and the Gedusha Kala, enhances the status of the Gedusha Kala, like the Gemara says a Sprach, Otu Shabbos la'atzmoi mahani le'v'shchoidesh loy mahani, Otu Shoshana la'atzmoi mahani le'v'shchoidesh, whatever it is, it has a zakoya. That when it's Ikla, or Gedusha, with another Gedusha, then the Cheshbon is, that, so theoretically, when a Shabbos comes together with a Chol HaMoed. Now what's a Chol HaMoed? It's a Yontif. That's Mechus Kedusha. It's a Yontif. It's a Moed. Shalosh Regalim. But it's not Niskadish L'Malacha. And Shabbos brings Kiddush L'Malacha. So Chas Shabbos, Tuzuf, that the Rav said this already.
No, he's asking already a kasha.
Val.
Waiting for
yeah. This Tosfos is going to be the way you could do it. So Shabbos, which is mahani la'atzmoi, is also mahani to Chol HaMoed. The meilet a Chol HaMoed of Shabbos is a yontif von Haftorah, because be'etzem Shabbos is a yom von Haftorah. Und die Shabbos is mahani ad the Chol HaMoed. Das heißt, der Pesach von Choil, wie bald heute der Shabbos, it is a Pesach von Kodesh. Für Sukkos ist es a Sukkos von Kodesh.
Hat es bei uns Haftorah?
Hat es an Haftorah mit dem Din. So macht man a Brach. Sagt der Mishnah Berurah, die Achronim sagen, only in Sukkos you could say that. For was? Because Sukkos jede eine is a besondere Yontif. Is Shaykh Hazar sprach that the Yontif of the third day Chol HaMoed, or the first day Chol HaMoed, or the third day Chol HaMoed, Buma halt Chol HaMoed, that Yontif, the Shabbos Sheboy gives to the Yontif of Sukkos of that day a Torah's Yom Haftorah. Aber Pesach, let's read the Mishnah Berurah sprach. Ein Haftorah bo sharei ein maftirim b'shar yemei Chol HaMoed. What does he mean? Not because Chol HaMoed is nicht a Yom von Haftorah. In Sukkos, a Gamse nicht gonna Yom von Haftorah, the Shabbos verrichtet das. The Shabbos fixes that. Here is a problem. What's the Shabbos? It's like 3 hours in the middle of a Yontif. If I have 3 hours in the middle of a Yontif, that's going to coincide with a Kedusha's Shabbos. So those 3 hours are going to become a Yom of Haftorah. It's not a Yom. So if Val Pesach is one Kedusha of 7 days, and it's not 7 Kedushas of 1 day, in Memele it can't be Chal on one isolated day in middle of Pesach that it becomes a Yom of the Haftarta. It's not Shayach. Oh, but Sukkos, bibald every day is a regel b'fnei atzmoi, every day is a moyed b'fnei atzmoi. Is in Sukkos ken geshen az azach. In a Sukkos ken geshen az azach, because it's a separate yontif. Mamish the words of our Tosfos. V'hoya kol chad v'chad yontif. Kol yoyme v'yoyme have a yontif la'atzmoi. It's pshat to say an additional yontiv of chiluk kobonis, like it's mashma from the luach or from the shitchi yisadin. No, because it's psadin of kobonis. Das war essen noch a kugel. Aber for them din, that's not enough. No, you call chad v'chad yontiv le'atzmoi. Lefi shepori achag v'zav ha'olchin. Aber Pesach eine mishtane. Loi mi kobonis v'loi yontiv. Das ist ein größer Yontif. Und auf der Chelik von dem Yontif kann das nicht geschehen, nur auf dem ganzen Yontif.
He's asking for was will be Chanukah, Shabbos Chanukah.
No, frag schon aber so eine bessere Kasche. Wo ist Shabbos Chodesh? Aber was macht man nicht Maskere Chodesh in Haftorah? Aber ich mag dem gewähnen. Weil Chodesh ist nur Scheiche zu dem ganzen Ding von Haftorah. Was ist kein Yontif?
Nur weil
Yontif wie Yesoid der Yontif.
a Yontif von Haftorah.
No. Was fällt in Chol HaMoed legabi Pesach? Amanda Chashmei oder was fällt Kedushas Meloche?
Fällt die Kedushas Meloche.
Auf dem kommt Shabbos. Aber Chanukah...
Das haben wir, der Shem Yontif.
In other words, es darf sein a Yom... No. No, what he's saying is... No, but I'm saying, let's ask it with... No, you're entitled. Believe me, you're entitled. They're entitled. But I say it with Rosh Chodesh. Probably Chanukah, it's more complicated, even as a... But Rosh Chodesh is a classical shaila here. Why can't Shabbos
be Ma'alim
the Rosh Chodesh? We know that on Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, which is a Yom B'fnei Atzmoi, which is every Rosh Chodesh is Zichar, Yom Tov, whatever Rosh Chodesh is, every Rosh Chodesh is a La Atzmoi. There's not a collection of 12 Rosh Chodeshes like Pesach. The teretz is because this Indian could only help when it provides the Yom Tov what it's lacking. What's Pesach lacking? What's Chol HaMoed Pesach lacking in the Chiyuv Haftorah? Because it's not a Yom of Issa Malacha. It's not a Yom of Kiddush Malacha. And a Yom of Kiddush Malacha, we don't have an Haftorah. We only have an Haftorah, like it says in the Mishnah Megillah, only on the Yomim where you lay in 5, which is a Yom that's in Skadish or Malacha. A Yom that we lay in 4, if it's not a Tainis, we don't have an Haftorah.
No, Pesach.
No, the Zogich has Pesach, the Chalamoyed.
doesn't have the Hisofa.
Of Chalamoyed. Aber es kommt mit der Shabbos, ist der Shabbos hat das Koyach, als es macht von dem Pesach, a Pesach von Malacha. Das kenne ich. Weil Shayimei a Pesach sind doch nicht. So it can't isolate a day in middle of Pesach and turn it over. Oh, but Sukkot is that every day of Sukkot is a Bazunda Yontiv. Every day of Sukkot is a separate Yontiv. So it's shaykh to chap on one of the days and turn that day of Sukkot into a Yom Sheknis Kaddish for Haftorah, and you can make Mekadosh Azmanim. And Nechmena does the Emes Kavon and the Mishnah Berurah.
How do you explain Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh is also one day.
So I explained because Rosh Chodesh is not. Why is Rosh Chodesh don't have enough Torah? It's a Yontiv. Yes, so Mamela Shabbos can't do that. Yontiv is Yontiv. No, there's levels in Yontiv. There's a Yontiv with Malacha, a Yontiv without Malacha. So when Shabbos comes, it makes it a Yontiv with Malacha. But Rosh Chodesh even in the end, you don't have such a din in Rosh Chodesh. But probably doesn't have Haftarah. So nobody was having a Chazal in their Ikketakon of Haftarah. Never will attack it on a Rosh Chodesh Haftarah. So Shabbos can't make that. It's almost like he's asking Chanukah. Shabbos can't do that. Shabbos could take a Sukkos that's Mechusar is a Malacha and make it a Sukkos that has Malacha. Through the La'atzma is Mahani La'atzma, Mahani L'mani L'Sukkos.
Why do we have a Haftarah on Tanis?
That's different. The Haftarah of Tanis has to do with the Tainus. Yes, it's only by Mincha. It's not by Shachris.
Okay, so that makes it different.
Yeah, it's a whole special takana. Tainus of Tainus is a special takana. The two Haftarahs of Tisha B'Av is also a special takana. It's Medine Avelus or Medine Tshuva. It's a separate thing.
They don't say it.
Huh?
Svardim don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
On Sukkot.
No, on
the
Tainus.
Tainus.
On the Tainus. It's only if they're Ramah.
And in Tzom Gedalia also not? No, Tzom Gedalia is asking me Tshuva. There's their Tshuva. It's a Tosfos in Megillah that brings.
I'm just saying it's a riot. Shiur just said that it's a Bazundere din.
Yeah, it's a separate halacha. It could be even a weaker minig. It could be. I didn't remember now. I don't remember. Yeah. Okay, just wanted to.
What's with the tefillah? Someone's asking me what the tefillah on Chalamoid Sukkos should have been a tefillah of Yontiv then.
Why? Oh.
If it's a Yontiv, why is there a Yontiv to create the
Why only in Haftarah does it stel?
Why does it stel Zuchim?
Why doesn't it stel ois?
Say Shachris Shabbos. Shachris Shabbos
Ich hab
Chalamoid.
doch gesagt, that could be the svara doesn't help to be mafkiya the chayvus tefillah Shabbos.
It can only be Moisif.
It's only Moisif and Askara. But to use this svara to pater me from Yismach Moshe, Kleinigkeit, Yismach Moshe.
Shabbos schleps Yontif, not Yontif doesn't do Yontif's not the
Verkehrt, that's all good, yeah.
So how could you're just being Moisif the Basmanim.
It's even better, yeah. He's saying if it's all from the Shabbos, so the Shabbos is going to give the Yontif a din to be Mavatal the Tefillah Shabbos.
Oh, that's already a Shabbos.
That's what he's saying. That's what he is.
That's a different svara. It's als Kump wie Koich the Shabbos.
Yeah, Shkoyach.
Chaim sagt, dass in the middle of Pesach, if you didn't say, man sagt von Chaim, that if you didn't say Hallel Sholem the first day, you could say it any day.
Any day, say, oh, the 7 days needs, all Pesach needs a Hallel, and all
That's
Sholem.
the same No, so it'll come out in the sun.
What the din of Oimim Afilu
Goimrim. No, Goimrim is a Hallel, that the Hallel Sholem, that it's once.
L'chayr, like the Pashtus HaGemara, why not? Pesach is a peirik of Hallel. And remember, the first time you hit Pesach, who cares where you hit it?
Right. So
For you, it's
So
Pesach.
I'm saying it's a riot. It's not a din on the Yom Tov of that. It's the whole, the whole 7 days. The riot.
We're just a Meiser Rav. You ready to learn the Lamed Amid Beis today?
Yeah.
Mit doch nicht gelernt.
Let him on.
V'hoyu yomim toivim li Yisrael kechamisha osu b'yovach hayoyim HaKippurim. I'll say over a Meiser that I was zeichet to witness almost 50 years ago, 48 years ago. A very dear Chava, that's a very big Rosh Yeshiva today. I don't like to get names. The Groisem and Fosem de Rosh Yeshiva. He did a shidduch. He became a chosin by a Taira Yid, a Choshev Yid, But the Balabat Shid, a Nogid. The Vart was in Muncie. So I traveled from Lakewood to the Vart. I'm sure you did Nefesh. Rabbi Yankov was there. And Rabbi Yankov spoke. And Rabbi Yankov spoke about the Gemara, Lahoyu Yom Tovim Li Yisrael, Kechamisha Asa Ba'av. The Gemara says, Bishlam Yom Kippur, is this by Slicha Mechila. Tezvav B'Yav, Mahi. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, the first thing is, Yom Shehutru Shvatim Lavai Zeh B'Zeh. Mai Deroish, Zeh Adav Hashasiv Hashem Es Lebnoi Slavchat. Davar Zeh Lo Yei Noyig Ela B'Dor Zeh. So Rabbi Yankov spoke out, das steht am Mödike Sach, that Hira Shah, that the B'nai Slavchot for that generation could only marry into their Shevet, but not Meshevet V'Lesisev Nachla Meshevet L'Shevet. Avada for the Hira Shah with B'nai Slavchot came B'nai Slavchot Doivros. Aber in Klal Yisrael, there's Yud Bei Shvatim and there's Tzirufim. And the koiches of each shevet, it's Gemitz Hashem and Vayechi. We're going to learn the when Yaakov Avinu gives the brachas, Shteit Aloshan in the Torah Kedosha, Ish Asher Kebirchoso Yibeirachoisa. Each shevet has his inyan. Reuven brings what he brings, Shimon brings what he is. So Yaakov said that the natural course of events is that Shvatim do intermarry, boitzach zusammen Mesiges. Mizugim from them koyach mit dem koyach. Tzirufim, even in the Golim we find tzirufim. It's only 4 Golim. Each degel has 2 other shvatim with the degel. So there's tzirufim. So he says in the Suin, there's also tzirufim. Hutu shvatim. In other words, this Indian of my clan, my shevet, my derech, my veg, my lineage, und das ist bin ich. So to Yankov, that was a bit of in one door. And it's a yontif lahoyu yomim toivim li Yisrael kechamisha asa ba'av, and the Chazal go on with 4 other things that happened on that day. But the first thing is hutu shvatim lo zeh b'zeh. So I'm saying a gewaldige Sach from Hutu Shvatim Zebedee. He was so sameach. I remember he was so joyful about that. He's witnessing. He said, Yankov used to get like that. So he became very joyful that he was zoichet to witness it. Hutu Shvatim Lavai Zeh B'Zeh. A balabatische Polish mishpacha that was zoichet to get a Litvische Ben Gedolim and a Gadol Yisrael of the future to marry into it. There's Yomim Tovim Yisrael. Kechamisha asa v'av. So just it's daf. I said it over. A good tevach.
Marav state as a koloiv al arai is gaive. So the Maral says, because when the people used to be not makbid on arai, they only wanted to marry their own clan.
Oh yeah?
So
not like the Ramban brings.
Yes, so he says the Maral Zok, so Mil doesn't make gaive, because you didn't appreciate